is, but tea is a $15 billion industry. It's the second most popular beverage. Well, with the emphasis now for all of us, I think most all of us, on health. We've already talked about Berry Coffee's purified water and all the water-related and ice-related products that are absolutely pure in nature. But the second biggest, most popular beverage now is tea, and they do a full line of organic teas. They have the China Mist line of organic teas. They have every flavor that there is, including all the herbal teas and like green tea, like what I like to drink, because my wife has convinced me how great it is for me, and all the antioxidants and all that kind of stuff. But they also have tea brewing equipment for large batch tea brewing in people's offices. So I just thought it was real interesting that, and I'm not surprised that Steve and Berry Coffee, that there's, if they don't have it, you don't want it or need it, and so top three beverages that there are: water, tea, coffee, all the best, all the purest, all the freshest.
Berrycoffee.com. Check out their website. It's a very, very detailed website with all their products, all their equipment, all the things they can do for you, including their micro markets. Berrycoffee.com. Check them out. And as I always say, the cool thing about running this business and this podcast is we end up having kind of a personal connection with our listeners. We see them at live shows. And the cool thing is our listeners want us to succeed. You can help us succeed by supporting the people who support us, and Berry Coffee's been very, very loyal to us. Who's the closer of the future?
Boy, isn't that a great question? For the longest time, they thought it was going to be J.T. Shagwa. Mm-hmm. He can throw at 97. He's had trouble getting people out with that 97 or 98, which is kind of surprising. But the more I watch baseball, and I've been doing that for, let's just call it decades, a long time. The more it just points out to me something that Tom Seaver said a long time ago, fellow USC Trojan, and was a good pitcher at USC, had great stuff, but not just unbelievably great when he first came up to the big leagues. Great stuff, and then he got rolling, and I asked him what made the difference. He said, I could throw it where I wanted to. I finally was able to throw the ball where I wanted to, and not just have a great fastball that was down the middle as much times as it was, and a great curveball that was down the middle as many times as it wasn't. And so that's what you notice now about pitchers and hitters. When the ball's down the middle, big league hitters tend to hit it, and we saw it. Yesterday. This is a Friday show that after a 4-game series in Cleveland, the Thursday noon game in Cleveland, 1 o'clock game in Cleveland, of which one of the best, Corey Kluber, was sailing along, got a couple of unfortunate for him base hits, and then it just threw a little spinning cutter up there, the only one that he threw the whole day, and Jorge Polanco hit it in the seats. That's what happens, even against the best. You make a bad pitch, and big league hitters make you pay for it. So it really is a question of pitchers being able to throw the ball on location more often than not. The great preponderance of the time. It's kind of like for most of us in golf. It's not about how many great shots we hit. It's how many times we don't hit the ball in the water or out of bounds. And all of you took any of us, and you say, okay, from now on, every ball's going to be in the fairway. Then all of a sudden, there's 8 shots, 6 shots. Pick a number that you're better. Where you're not, my favorite, the interlocking 4-iron shot bent around trees, and those kinds of things. So, when you ask me who's going to be the closer, I think there are guys that have stuff, but you have to have location and you have to have real guts. To be a closer. And you watch Fernando Rodney, for example, and one of the things that he has, besides maybe the best changeup ever, is he's just got guts. He's gonna challenge you with. He says, I think my fastball changeup combination is better than you are, and I'm gonna throw those things until something happens, and generally he wins. And that's what you have to be able to have as a closer. I don't think they have any idea right now who the closer is. And so it's even in the minor leagues. And so that might be one of the things that happens either in free agency or in a trade, because now they have been the one stockpiling potential assets for that.
Let's do some Twitter questions after we thank Whizkids.tech, Whizkids.tech. Cool Minneapolis business. They're located not far from us right now. Michael Thanert is their CEO. He's told me that he's a big fan of the podcast. He wanted to be a part of things, and those are the kind of businesses we love to work with. Local businesses who, get who our people are, get who Roy Smalley is, and get that we have a direct connection with our listeners. So if you have any needs in the computer and business and cloud area for your business, check out Whizkids.tech. They implement and support managed IT services, unified communications, and cloud services. They can be your chief technology ally.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Thanert, founder and CEO of WizKids. WizKids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At WizKids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to WizKids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at Whizkids.tech. That's Whizkids.tech. WizKids, make it happen.
So now that the Twins aren't in realistic contention, what are you watching for around baseball? Like what captures your imagination right now?
Well, the first thing is that Boston Red Sox playing 700 baseball.
It's amazing.
And whether or not they're going to play 700 baseball, I mean, they could set record like the likes of which we've never seen. They are on such a roll, and when a team that talented starts having that much fun winning, it's hard to derail that. It's just one of those things that momentum really happens. Psychological momentum happens, and the psychology sure contributes to physiology in all sports, but baseball in particular. And it's going to take something pretty drastic to derail them. And so I'm watching that. I'm watching the Cleveland Indians start to catch fire up and down the lineup, and the pitchers healthy. I think Bauer pitching as well as he is in Cleveland has completely changed things for that team, because now they can run Kluber, Carrasco, and Bauer out there in the postseason, and move Clevenger into a spot relief role, and they've acquired Brad Hand and Miller's off the DL, and so if Cody Allen gets it straightened out a little bit, now again it becomes a 5-inning game for the Indians. And then of course there's the race in the West with the surprising Oakland A's. As much as I like to see that, I mean, Houston is the other class of the league, and it's going to be very difficult to derail them as well. It will be interesting to see with Aaron Judge if he can come back and be effective, down the stretch, because then with the moves that they made at the trade deadline, they become dangerous in the postseason. So I just think baseball is really exciting right now. And I'm talking about American League stuff. We could go into the National League as well, because there are equal things to be excited about and interested in over there. I just think that the American League races right now, and the prospect of the American League postseason is really, really fun, and I'm looking at that with high anticipation. I really am. Plus, I just want to see, in terms of the Twins, I want to see day-to-day improvement in the backbone kids, Sano, Polanco, Kepler, Rosario, get Buxton back up here. Let me see those kids giving me, and even more importantly, giving Derek Falvey and Thad Levine the sense that when they go into spring training next year, okay, I do feel better about this backbone. Who can we go get? What do we do about making deals that will get us closer to those American League teams we just talked about?
I'm going to ask you who you think the MVP is in the American
man.
League. And there's some amazing names, amazing performances. And I usually don't go deep into the award thing, but I'm just fascinated by the American League this year. Do want to thank Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin. 11351 Aquila Drive, Aquila, excuse me. And Tony's name, if you want to Google him, is Hoaglund. Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin, who handles my insurance and Michael Russo's insurance.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoaglund. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
So is it too early to ask you to think about MVP?
No, I think the MVP has to come from a team that wins a division, or at least as a postseason participant. And so that will include most likely the Yankees and then someone in Oakland or Seattle. Depending on what Oakland and Seattle do, I'm gonna go to the presumed division winners and look at Jose Ramirez in Cleveland. Or Francisco Lindor. Lindor has Ramirez has been the story through the end of July in Cleveland. 33 home runs and 80 some RBIs already. Really, he could drive in and 130 runs.
How many steals too?
And he's the kind of the complete player. But Francisco Lindor is as well. He's 28, 29 home runs, 37 or 38 doubles. He can steal a base. He plays terrific defensive shortstop. So I'm particularly partial to him. He's been an absolute force in that lineup as well. And between those two guys, I think that's. I think that could be a battle between the two of them, and just who puts up the bigger numbers down the stretch here. And then you go to Boston, and it's got to be Mookie Betts or J.D. Martinez. And I tend to think it's the impact is Mookie Betts, just being the defensive right fielder that he is, and the impact that he has in the leadoff role. Those two guys, Lindor and Betts, by the way, we talked about their statistics the other day on a pregame show at Fox Sports North, and they're either 1 and 2 in baseball in just about every category there is for leadoff hitters. And, oh, by the way, in the American League, also throw in everybody, not just leadoff hitters, and the slugging percentage, the on-base percentage, all of that is top 3 to 5. So those kids are just wonderful, wonderful players, and it's going to be Betts, Martinez, Lindor, Jose Ramirez down the stretch. Who puts up the bigger numbers, I think, is ultimately. And I would throw Altuve in there if he hadn't been hurt. That kind of, he's a kind of a perennial candidate for that and should be. But this year, the excitement that's coming out of players in Cleveland and Boston, I think, is pretty special.
And whenever I talk about MVP, the first thing I do is check OPS. And that's not a final arbiter, but it's a good kind of impact number before you then add in defensive impact and stolen bases and base running and everything else. And you look at the OPS, and Mookie Betts is number one easily.
Yeah, not even close.
And the only one close to him is Mike Trout, who, through no fault of his own, is not going to play on a winning team. Mike
Trout would be the perennial, MVP. Potential guy as well if he were able to lead his team to a postseason berth, and he just is not able to. And I've always thought that there should be a most valuable player award and a player of the year award.
Right.
And I think
they're different things.
They are different things, and I think the same player could win each.
Right.
I think that's certainly fair and possible and even probable. But for example, were Mookie Betts to win, the most valuable player has always been the player without whom his team would not have done what they did, and doing what they did generally has been taken to mean win. Mm-hmm. player of the year can be Mike Trout, who is not going to play on a postseason